What's going on, YouTube? All right, so I got a little bit of explaining to do. Now, with the Z, on the last video that you saw, I got it back from Nissan after getting an oil pan put onto the vehicle, and then kind of took it out a couple of days later with the boys. We were kind of sending it on a couple of roundabouts and like other kind of places and such like that. Well, I wouldn't say really roundabouts, cul-de-sacs you would say and such. So basically, I did a few runs. Maybe a little bit more than that, but basically I guess the engine couldn't really hold up to its standard, I guess you can say. So long story short, I blew the motor. I wasn't really expecting to blow the motor. It was one of those things that I really hoped that I wasn't going to run into this issue. I really got this Z because I thought that, hey, I can drive the shit out of it, drive it to the track, and then basically drive it home without any issues. And basically a first couple of days of having the car back, driving it maybe a little hard, I blow the motor. So basically we picked up a new motor off a local guy here in Mission, and it came out of a 2003 Fairlady Z. So it is a out of a right-hand drive 350Z. I'm hoping that I'm not going to have any kind of issues since I'm using my stock wiring harness and such. So this is the new motor out of that we're going to be putting in. I put the plenum spacer back in. This is like the Z1 plenum spacer that I got when I first got the car. I didn't really have any videos of that when I put that in, but again, this is kind of like the Z1 plenum spacer. I had an issue with the motor before. It was kind of running lean. A couple of us thought it was probably this spacer that was kind of making a leak, kind of in between here where the OEM bolt would be here. Without the spacer, you can put a nut there, but with the spacer it kind of eliminates that. Z1 says it's good, but we're gonna see and find out if it's gonna be like that with this motor. So basically this is the new motor. Well, we kind of took the motor out, I kind of had to get a new clutch. So the OEM clutch here, you can see she's a little toast. So I ended up getting a new clutch. This is an Act 6-puck heavy duty clutch. I've been told by a couple of guys locally here and from online that they're pretty good. So hopefully I'm not going to have any issues there. When I got this motor, a couple of normal things. The valve covers were obviously leaking. The rear, not the rear main seal, but the U seal that connects to the upper oil pan and the block. There's a U seal that was leaking, so we kind of just resealed the upper and lower oil pan. So hopefully I'm not going to have any kind of leaks. With this old motor, obviously, I had some issues. I had valve cover leakage, my spark plug, oil tube, whatever the hell you call them, those were leaking oil into the spark plugs. It was just a tired motor, you know, with 137,000 miles. It, you know, it did its purpose, I guess you can say. So obviously we didn't really have any luck with that. We suspected from bringing it back that it could have been a spun bearing that probably led to a snap timing chain guide. So those are plastic, those are known for snapping, and I'll show you a clip of it kind of now, letting you know that how it kind of hurt. So a couple of the boys came over yesterday. We put everything together on my block where we reseal the oil pan, kind of got it all ready to put in. I don't really have any videos of me taking out the engine. I kind of just wanted to get it all done because at the time it was kind of a lot for me. I didn't think I was going to be blowing a motor and having to throw another motor in, where I just thought this was just going to be a great daily driven street car. So yeah, things happen, right? The shitty part is that on the last video when I got it back from Nissan, I had a brand new Lure oil pan put on the car. It was like a $900 job, and that was like a really good deal because I work for the company. So if I didn't, it would have cost a little bit more, and that's kind of shitty that there goes all that money, because I can't really reuse this because there was a lot of metal shavings in the oil when I brought it out. So basically that pan is just going to be pretty much toast. If not, there's going to be shavings in the oil galleries where it goes into the oil pump, so there's no point of you reusing that. So this one doesn't leak. I cleaned it up nicely, so hopefully it's just going to be a good slap in and send basically. So I'm going to have the boys come over soon and get this all ready to be put in. And then I'm going to be showing you some clips of us kind of putting it all in and then firing up hopefully today. So stay tuned, we'll get that done soon. Look at this, boys. This thing is looking spicy in here. But it's gonna look even spicier with that thing. Okay, so we got the motor in. Nick came over and he just left now. He's gonna have some lunch. But basically, we got the motor in, all bolted up. Now we just gotta do all the small stuff with like getting the engine harness all hooked up. When I was gonna use the other motor that I picked up from the junkyard, it came with a harness, but it's a right-hand drive harness, so I assume it's gonna be a little bit different. But at the time I just wanted to get the old motor out, so I did cut only one plug, but it was the cam angle sensor. So I'm gonna have to just crimp that back together, and that should be all good to go. Get everything else all dialed in. Nick and I had like a fucking hard time getting the transmission all lined up with the motor. We realized that it had two dowels on the tranny on one side and the motor on the other side, so they just kept hitting each other. So yeah, I got that all kind of sorted out, and she's in. Now we just got, like I said, plumb everything back together. We gotta wait till tomorrow for Pat to bring the tranny pump to pump the fluid into the transmission, and she should be good to go. Alright, so unfortunately we didn't really get to finish up the Z yesterday. We have a few more things to do with the whole wiring harness, kind of put everything in place, and then we ran into an issue with like the slave cylinder on the car. I never really took out the slave cylinder on the tranny, but when we put everything back together, the slave wasn't working, so we got a new slave cylinder put into the car, and now everything's kind of working really well with the clutch and everything. I'll have in the second video here next, what you guys are going to be watching, all the insides and outs of it getting all started, putting the oil into the vehicle, and then getting everything else started. So I'll see you guys in the next video.